principal message in sharing your studies with your pastor or church leadership is to remember that you're under their authority and you need to respect the leadership structure of your church. That doesn't mean that they can tell you what to do or what you have to believe, but as long as you're there, you need to respect the fact that they've been entrusted with the leadership of the church. Most pastors, elders, and deacons, priests, bishops, and ministers, called by whatever title, take nurturing the church of God that's in their care very seriously. And while you might have an issue with one or more particular doctrines, your church leadership will be more concerned about how things affect the church body as a whole rather than just how it affects you. Before you approach church leadership on a doctrinal issue, I'd strongly recommend that you learn how and why the church historically came to their position. And this may take some time and effort to do, but that research is well spent. This process alone may lead you to discover that your research was faulty and that theirs is correct. In any case, you should know where they're coming from before you meet. If after exploring how and why they came to believe what they did, you still feel that you need to discuss it, be humble, share from the perspective that what you've studied are your beliefs, not the truth. Be prepared to explain how you came to the conclusions you did and be willing to answer questions that may come up. And if you don't know the answer to their questions, be honest about it. There's no shame in saying that you don't know. It's important to realize that while you're excited about your studies, your pastor or church leadership might be constrained by the denomination's statement of beliefs, and that changing it might not happen. If forced to choose between the denomination and you, be prepared to lose that battle. In the previous session, we provided guidance to not talk to other church members about differences you have with the church. So this next point will hopefully be moot. Do not, under any circumstances, gather a posse and confront the pastor or church leadership. That's clearly causing division, as Titus warned us not to, and should be completely abandoned as a method of communication. If you feel that you can't express your feelings in person or don't have the ability to articulate them, then write them down and send them to your pastor or your church leadership. But be sure to sign your name so they know who it's from. Anonymous Dear Pastor letters aren't a very godly method of communication. After you've had as many conversations that are necessary to endeavor to resolve things, if you find that your studies lead you to irreconcilable differences with your church or denomination, you may feel the need to seek out a church that's more consistent with your beliefs. While this may be difficult if you have a position or function within the church, strive to do your best to not make waves. If you have a commitment to the nursery or teaching a Sunday school class or ushering, if you're on a schedule, then try to fulfill the remainder of the term if possible. If you're in an open-ended commitment, then give ample notice to the leadership so that they can find a suitable replacement. Most of the time, at least some of your friends or fellow church members will know there's something up with you, and if they approach you, make it clear that your views on certain issues have evolved and that you're just freeing yourself up because you don't feel the allegiance to the church that you once did. Please do not recruit church members to leave with you. Do everything you can to encourage them to stay. While it's understandable to want to justify why you're moving on and you want to share the truth, the greater matter at stake here is unity. If your life has touched others and they choose to seek you out after you've left and maintain a relationship, so be it. But be careful not to gossip or subtly undermine the church. For me, as someone who's been an elder, a pastor, an assistant pastor, and even at times a church shopper, please take my encouragement and exhortation and do the honorable thing at all times, even when your ego is desperate to explain your side of the story. Since you've committed your life to wholesome Christian living, you want to give God every opportunity to bless your life. And avoiding gossip and refusing to cooperate with a spirit of criticism will go a long way and open many doors for you in your walk with Christ. Ultimately, you want to wind up with friends that share your hunger to learn the Word of God, because the Word says, "As iron sharpens iron, so a man sharpens the countenance of his friend." But be sure that you proceed in a manner that's responsible and doesn't cause division. Then God's blessings will surely follow you.